Hey everybody, Adam here for True North Wilds. Yes, this is actually me. I know I'm missing the mustache and I look a lot different. Give it a month or two, it'll be back. But for now, I'm here and I'm opening up the Mystery Tackle Box Elite box. This box is the third one that I've gotten. I have previously compared it to the RLM Elite box from Simple Fishing. Last month I didn't do a video for it, but I did post a picture and some thoughts on it for what I got. If you check those out, you'll see that I'm a little bit on the fence for this box so far. I'm not entirely sure that it's worth the extra money over the Pro box, but I'm hoping that this month I'll get something good in here and it will change my mind. We're going to open this up and we're going to see what I get and if it really is elite quality. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. While I'm doing that, hit those buttons down there, like and subscribe. Really helps me out a lot on the channel. If you're not yet, you can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/TrueNorthWilds, on Instagram @TrueNorthWilds, and of course, if you like to read, I like to write on my blog site about different outdoor adventures. You can check that out at TrueNorthWilds.com. So, opening this up, I'm seeing a lot of stuff in here. First up, we have a spoon. I like spoons. I use them a lot. They're a good all-around lure around here. This one is a pretty big spoon. So this is a Lake Fork spoon, Lake Fork flutter spoon. So this is a pretty nice color for a spoon. This is a nice silver color. It's got a lot of shine in it. It's got a lot of flash. It's got a nice, a little bit of red coloration there. It's got the eyeball, nice silver, black, sparkles in it. It's got sparkles in it, which is always nice. Just a lot of flash in a spoon. That's what you want in a spoon. They're a very flashy lure. And especially the way that they flutter and they're wobbling side-to-side action in the water. They throw that flash and they throw that sparkle all over the place. So that's really what you want. So the color and everything on this, really happy with that. It's a really nice spoon. Solid, it's got some weight to it. Decent hook on it. The one concern that I have with this spoon, being here in Manitoba that we fish for smallmouth bass, we don't have largemouth in a whole lot of places. This is a very big spoon. This is not something I would throw for smallmouth bass. It's too big for them. They would not go after this at all. This would be something I would throw for pike, walleye, lake trout, bigger fish like that. Not so much for smallmouth bass, so really like this as a spoon. This is definitely something I will use. But as far as a elite bass box, this is kind of missing the mark for where I fish here. Next up, we have some plastics from Kitech Custom Worms, the Swing Impact 3-inch custom worms. Open these up, take a look. So they're a nice colored worm. This is definitely a good plastic for smallmouth bass. I'd throw this on a jig. It's got some nice sparkles in there. Nice gray color. All in all, nice basic sort of body shape. It's a good worm grub sort of plastic. Definitely something I'll throw for smallmouth bass. Nothing too fancy there. It's sort of just a basic plastic. Next thing out of the box, I have a Z-Man Chatterbait Midnight, specially designed for night fishing. So I'm kind of excited to get this. This is a chatterbait, and a chatterbait is actually something that I have not fished before. Let's see if I can get it on the package here for you. So I have never used a chatterbait before. It's a pretty cool looking lure. It's got all this nice purple colored skirting, purple and black. It's a really nice purple color in here. Purple definitely works well around here for smallmouth bass, as well as walleye, so it's kind of a good multi-species color. And I imagine it's called a chatterbait because you hook on here and you get that chatter, you get that plate vibrating in the water as you're pulling this, making all kinds of noise, and then you have it attached to, a jig head with the skirting and then the hook on it. And you could put a trailer on that hook. You could put a minnow or a nightcrawler, or you could put a big creature plastic, anything you want really, as far as depending what you're targeting. So it's a pretty cool lure. Can't really say too much about it because, like I said, I've never actually used one of these, so I'm excited to try that out and see how well it works. All right, so dual hardcore Some Japanese writing on here, so I'm not sure if hardcore or dual is the brand or hardcore is the brand. I'm not entirely sure, but it says dual and it says hardcore on it, and it is a hard bait. If I can get it out of the package here, I will show you. Okay, that was really in there. So we've got this hardcore minnow flat is what it's called, and it's a suspending minnow. It's got a nice color on it. It's mostly clear. You can see the rattle bearings in there, the little ball bearings. It's got a little splash of orange on the belly. It's got a little dark stripe along the top, but for the most part, it's mostly clear. So it's kind of a neat looking lure. It's got a nice little narrow diving bill. It says on the package that it dives down to about 4 feet. So that's a really good dive depth. Nice little lure. Looks pretty decent quality. Haven't used one quite like this before. I don't have anything with this clear and color combination. So I'm looking forward to trying that. Should be pretty decent for smallmouth bass around here. 4 foot dive depth is pretty much perfect for the different structure and cover that I normally fish those bass in. All right, this looks interesting. So this is a Molix Supernato soft hybrid crankbait. So this is a really interesting lure, and I just took a second there to read the packaging because there's more to this than initially meets the eye. This looks like a surface frog. It's got the soft hollow body. It's got the top 2 hooks like that, and it's got the tail just like you would find on a surface frog, but it's also got the hard plastic head with a little bit of a rattle in it, and it's got this diving bill. Normally this would be a very strange combination. Normally you wouldn't have this soft hollow body and expect it to dive down, because it would take in water and throw it off, and it's just a weird looking lure on the surface. But reading the packaging, it's kind of a neat idea. You can leave it as is and work it on the surface and hop it along lily pads, along weeds, over top of weeds, or whatever. You can work it the same as you would work a surface frog. According to the package, you'd have to play with it a little bit more, get those hops a little bit more due to the diving bill, but you can work it as a surface lure, and it works exactly like a surface frog. And you see that with the soft plastic, you see that with the hook style. But then you can also work it as a diving lure, as a weedless crankbait. And the way they show it on the package is you put it in the water, give it a squeeze, and basically, from what I'm gathering, you squeeze it and you squeeze it, and it will take in that water and fill it up, and it'll fill up that hollow part with water, giving it some weight and giving it more of a rigid structure. And then you have that dive bill that will go down. So if you only fill it halfway, you can get sort of a shallow medium dive. If you pump it up and fill it up all the way with water, I imagine you'll get deeper. I'm not sure how well this is actually going to work in practice. In theory, it sounds like a pretty neat little hybrid lure, and certainly lets you get into a variety of areas and a variety of structure, and of course that weedless design, so you can pull it through some pretty rough stuff, I would imagine. So I'm intrigued. I can't really say too much. I've never seen anything quite like this. It sounds like a good idea. I'm interested to see how it works in practice. Definitely the colors and the shape and everything is good for smallmouth bass here. So I'm going to give that a try for sure. And it's definitely, like I said, it's interesting. I don't know what else to say about it other than it is very interesting. Pretty cool lure to get, and I like the idea of it. We'll see. We'll see if it works out in practice. Last up, the Strike Pro Flex Phantom. This looks like a big jointed hard bait, tournament grade. Let's see if I can. Apparently, according to the package, it is the secret weapon. So this is a big lure. It's got a lot of little jointed sections in it. It's got a lot of movement in that tail. It's got a hard solid front part of the body, and then the last half of it is that jointed. It's only got the single hook, which is interesting. A lot of times, most times you'll see these with at least another treble hook on the back. It's got a pretty big, wide, square bill. So it'll probably dive down. It doesn't say on the package what it'll dive down to, but it looks like you'll get some depth out of that. And then that square bill will be good for knocking on structure, knocking on wood, rocks, etc. It looks like it's got some pretty big thumping rattle in there. Yeah, I'm intrigued. Again, I'm intrigued. I've never used anything quite like this. It's not quite. I have ones that are like fully jointed. This isn't quite like that, so you'll still get like that solid front end and that banging on the structure, and then you have that action of the jointed tail, I guess, to entice things in. The color is fantastic. It's a nice blue color. It's got lots of clear parts, and it's got some yellow around the gills and just a lot of nice little details. The plastic is actually molded so you can see the gills and you can see the eyeballs and stuff. Just an interesting lure all around. I think that'll work pretty well. It's borderline too big for me to use for smallmouth bass, again, around here. Just the size is, it's a pretty huge lure. Not sure if I will be able to actually use this for smallmouth bass. I like the lure. This will be great for pike, for sure. I imagine this would be good for largemouth bass. I will hopefully get a chance to try that if I can find some largemouth here in Manitoba. But as far as smallmouth goes, as much as I like the look of this lure and as much as it's a really cool looking lure, cool concept, you know, the half and half, it's not gonna catch me smallmouth, I predict. So a little bit of a pro and a con here as far as this lure goes. I like this box. It has some nice stuff in it. I'm really intrigued by some of the lures. For example, you know, this half jointed thing was pretty cool to get, even though I'm not gonna be able to use it for smallmouth bass, most likely. The hybrid frog crankbait thing, I'm really intrigued to try this out. It's a neat concept. Don't know how well it's going to work practically, but it's a cool lure to get. I'm excited to try out a chatterbait for the first time. That was pretty cool. I mean, you can't go wrong with basic grubs. You can't go wrong with a spoon like this. I'm not going to be able to use this for smallmouth again. And you can't go wrong with a suspending minnow. My problem right now is I'm still on the fence as to whether this has the increased value over the Mystery Tackle Box Pro version. Not the retail price necessarily, because obviously the retail prices are higher, but with the higher retail price doesn't necessarily translate to a higher value and effectiveness of the lures. I feel like I'm not really seeing a huge increase in the value of what I'm getting compared to, say, a Pro Box. I get a lot of these same brands in the Pro Box. I get a lot of these same brands in other boxes at lower price points. I get a lot of these same brands and the same style of lures in the Simple Fishings RLM box, Lucky Tackle box, Bass box. So I'm not seeing a huge increase in quality necessarily. So I'm not entirely sure that the value is there for me to be paying an extra $15 a month extra. That could be changed if they would add some extras. For example, in a normal Mystery Tackle Box Pro box, I'll get 6 or 7 items. A Lucky Tackle Box, you know, I'll get 5 or 6. In the Mystery Tackle Box Elite box, I pretty regularly get 6. I don't get any terminal tackle. I don't get any other bonus stuff. Whereas in the Pro Box, I'll get some hooks and I'll get some, you know, some floats or things like that. I'll get some swivel snaps, that sort of stuff. So if they included some more of that stuff, I might be more inclined to stick with this and feel I was getting more value. Or if they had, you know, one more lure than the Pro Box, maybe, or, you know, just some basic stuff like that. Right now, it's a lot of the same stuff I'm going to get in other boxes or in the Pro Box at a lower price point. So I'm not entirely sure I'm going to stick with this box. Let me know in the comments if you guys have different experiences, what you think about these boxes, if it's worth it, or if you recommend just sticking with the Pro. I'm not knocking Mystery Tackle Box at all because I absolutely love my Pro Box. I get really fantastic stuff every month from that. I'm just struggling with the value, the cost, you know, cost to value of what I'm getting in the Elite versus the Pro. So let me know what you guys think about it, and we'll make a decision, you know, in the next month or two as far as whether I'm gonna stick it out or not. So thanks for watching, and if you like what you see, hit those buttons down there. Like, subscribe, follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/TrueNorthWilds, Instagram @TrueNorthWilds. And of course, you can check out my blog site where I like to write about all my outdoor adventures, wild game and fish recipes, hunting, arts and crafts using outdoor stuff, backyard projects, all that sort of fun stuff. So truenorthwilds.com if you want to check any of that out. And until next time, as always, I will see you outside.